Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We are coming live at you from New York City, and as always, I am your host, Michael Dolce, and I am joined by my co-host.
Do we sometimes come at them from other cities?
No.
Because it's usually New York City, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
just checking to see if we're...
letting everybody know.
Are we transmorphing to other places whenever we're doing the show?
Like a Power Ranger?
Yeah, something like that.
Are we mighty?
Yeah, I feel mighty
and
right now.
Yeah.
After the alcohol, I feel pretty mighty.
This is the biggest bar night of the year, by the way.
Is it?
Yes.
So
biggest bar night of the year is tonight.
So then we've
where are you guys go? Where are we drinking? Hey,
we've acted appropriately then.
We've got Hassan Godwin. We got Rob K in studio as well too. Because where's Sam? Sam's in like Mumbai right now, right?
Israel. How did you get Mumbai?
No, Budapest. That was what I was confusing Mumbai for. It was very exotic land is what I was getting at. So Sam Leibowitz is away.
My phone just died.
Your phone just died.
It just died.
Are you not watching anymore?
I've been having battery issues.
Oh, you've been having battery issues?
Yes, I'm having battery issues. There's my phone.
There are so many places we could take
that. Not
Instead,
once I've qualified it as a phone situation, you can't really take it to other places.
Oh, just watch me.
No.
It can happen.
No. It's officially over. Once I've clarified what it is, if you take it to someplace else, you're officially being a jerk.
Yeah, but that's like my whole shtick, though.
Yeah, well, don't.
Oh.
You should aspire not to be a jerk.
No, I kind of aspire.
No, aspire.
I aspire to be opposite.
No, cut above. You want to be a cut above, not cut below. Above.
I want to be the masses.
You don't be
I
the
aspire
masses.
to be the masses.
You don't want to be the people.
Yeah. All right, well, what do the people think about Justice League?
The people are scum.
Because that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Before we do, though, again, call in, 877-480-4120. Join the conversation. We are going to be all over Justice League. We've got Tomatometer,
we're going to be all over Justice League.
Critic. Danielle Solzman is going to join us as well, too. She's going to give us her point of view on Justice League.
She's a Rotten Tomatoes aficionada.
That's what a Tomatometer critic
is. She's a tomato.
Tomatometer.
She's a Tomatometer.
Is she a tomato?
She's a tomato.
Or a tomato?
She's
potato.
Both. I know the joke. I think she's a tomato.
I think I added to it by saying that.
No, really? I don't think you did.
So Raven Gregory.
Oh, that's a subject change.
Yeah, no, but it's gonna segue in very nicely.
You're gonna
We're gonna
around?
do this real quick.
Wrap it up.
By the way, check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio.
Don't check us out on my Facebook page because I can't share
Secrets of the Sire, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. If you like us, like we actually
then
did.
There's something wrong with you.
This is what we do at dinner time. We actually checked our iTunes reviews and we got some really favorable reviews.
Yes, we did.
And that was awesome. We would like more though. We are being thankful for what we got because it's Thanksgiving. But the more you give us, the more we can do. So anyway,
I'm thankful for this biscuit, but I'd like a piece of that ham. So
Raven Gregory, to jump right into this, he's a writer. He's done did a lot of stuff at Zenescope. Created the Gift at Image Comics. Like he basically has done a whole bunch of stuff. Right?
Okay.
He posted something on Facebook recently, and he said Justice League is like the Trump of movies. Right?
Whoa, love
loaded. Or you hate him, and there's no in between. There's nobody who's like, meh, Justice League.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
You don't think so? You don't think there's a middle ground to Justice League?
There's definitely a middle ground.
You think there's a middle ground? So with that in mind, give me your middle ground on Justice League.
What do you think the middle? I'm kidding. Give me my middle ground. I don't even understand what the
because you said there is a middle ground.
There
for
is
Justice
a middle
League,
ground to how you like it, whether you think it's great, or whether you think it's garbage.
Yeah,
there is a middle ground to. It's like, well, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, but it wasn't garbage.
See, I feel like the response out there to Justice League, though, has been very, very divisive. Like, it's either like, this was so much better than I thought it was going to be.
The response is divisive on purpose.
To, like, why did they even make this movie? Let me ask you this question, right?
Go ahead.
How close to the characters are you?
How close to them?
Like, if someone was to make... It's so far gone now, it's a bad analogy for me, but if someone was to make a Spider-Man movie to me, Spider-Man's like my guy, right? So I'm a little more close to that character.
I am a Batman and Superman fan.
Okay.
You know, very strongly. Not as much Wonder Woman.
Okay. Because you're sexist.
Pretty much.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That was sarcasm, people. Sarcasm.
I hate the women.
He's very anti-women.
Yeah, I don't like him at all. And I don't know Aquaman that well. I wasn't.
There's no pro Aquaman people out there.
There are.
I'm a pro Aquaman. Vinny. I'm a pro Vinny Chase.
There are
Aquaman.
Aquaminions. They exist.
Is that what they call themselves?
I don't know. I just named it. And I'm not really
impressive.
that. I'm not really.
That's super impressive. If that's the case, that was me. Don't worry about it.
I'm not really that big into the Flash either.
No,
I am a huge Superman.
Yeah.
And a huge Batman fan.
Okay.
And since they're the pretty much the heart
Sure.
of the Justice League,
Sure.
I could tolerate the.
Did you watch
satellite
Super
characters.
Friends as a kid too?
I did.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I didn't love it. Go ahead.
That's Ted Knight. Ted Knight doing the.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't get away from that.
See, this is the kind of knowledge you can't get anywhere else.
Batman, Superman, and Apache Chief. But so I was invested.
Yeah.
To an extent. Look, it suffers from. We're not even supposed to really talk about this, but it suffers from Man of Steel. You know,
Wait, no, we can talk about it.
It went awry with Man of Steel to an extent. The narrative went awry. So the depiction of Superman, I think, was fine. The morality in the story of Superman, I don't think was handled quite. I think they tried to do something different and they didn't think a lot of things through. And then bringing us all the way through to Batman versus Superman, they kind of had to double down on the mistakes they made in Man of Steel. They couldn't course correct.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman is fine because they were able to kind of take her as a separate and pretty much give her a morality story.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Superman and the problem with Man of Steel and the problem with Batman versus Superman is that there was no morality in either of those stories. They didn't do a morality play. It was mostly emotional. It was I don't know. It was more meta than it was internal. Than it was like like a personalized emotional story.
Okay.
And so that's why that's one of the big problems. Superman is a huge moral figure.
Yeah.
It's a huge morality play, right? This guy who's a god who does nothing but good, on a regular basis. That's a morality thing. It's his morals, and so is Batman to an extent with his rules about whether he.
So I'm gonna interject for 2 seconds. If you haven't seen Justice League, we apologize, but it's time. We're gonna give some spoilers away.
Yeah. If you didn't see Justice League, it's just us, and we're the League.
And I'm gonna just basically say it. This was the best version of the Henry Cavill Superman I think we've seen.
All right. I don't.
You think Man of Steel when he was kind of brooding, kind of like Angel, and I just say Angel because Angel's the quintessential brooding guy.
He's probably the least conflicted Superman that we've had to deal with, and therefore, and when I mean by conflicted is they haven't given us so many conflicting pieces of imagery and storylines that we're conflicted while we watch him.
Right.
So we're just, he's back and he's he's alive and he does good things and that's Superman. Great.
Yeah.
Fine. So I would agree with you on a moral basis.
Yeah.
That's the most moral Superman that we've been able to
clear cut
to eke out of it.
Clear cut.
Yeah.
Unambiguous.
But to your original statement about there being middle ground, I'm in the middle. I don't think it was phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think it deserves the vitriol.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. No. So a couple things we're going to do today, and I'll give you my thoughts on Justice League in just a second too. One of the things that I thought was so evident in there, though, too, and I think this is almost universal, right? The CGI was not very good. Right, I think we could almost agree on that.
I can't agree. I don't know.
He's a contrarian. That's why.
It's not really about that. It's just all of it looks fake.
Did it? I mean, but that's my point, right? Like, good CGI is when you look at it and go, "Wow, that looks real."
No. Good CGI is that you look at it, and when you watch the behind the scenes, months later, you realize, wait, that was CGI?
Right, exactly, right.
Okay, so if you know that there's CGI, if they're doing Aliens, which you know has to be kind of CGI or whatever, but those things you can kind of sit there and go like, okay, I get that. And so in your mind, will cancel it out. It's a comic book movie. It's like a cartoon.
But your mind will cancel out the...
I mean, how real can it get? I mean, how is it like, I never understand the logic of it. Just didn't look real.
I think
realistic. It's like,
it's
a guy in a blue suit who flies around the sun. So I mean, how real was it supposed to look?
Because you're supposed to be able to look at that and say, if it happened in real life, this is what it would look like.
No, you're not necessarily supposed to do that.
I think good CGI would allow you to do that. Right? I'm not going too far on a limb here.
I just
sit there and say, like, I want to be able to picture these things that I read.
But the DC movies are highly stylized. So if you're gonna, form follows function.
Because Zack Snyder, up until Wonder Woman, was the only one to actually make a DC movie since Christopher Nolan.
Does that negate that they were stylized?
No, but he's a stylized director.
All right, so we're still talking style, right? Yes. So they're stylized.
Superman, yes, very stylized.
Superman, Batman versus Superman,
yes, very stylized. Those two movies, very stylized.
Right?
Yeah. Just saying.
Okay, and isn't this half a Zack Snyder movie?
It is half a Zack Snyder. It's a great segue, though, my man.
Oh,
That is a great segue. One of the things that was bad in it. So Victoria...
so have you decided it was bad? You haven't given us your impressions of it in
What
general.
do you think of it? Now, Victoria Bennett actually chimed in recently, and I said, I'm going off to see Justice League. What am I in for? And she said a lot of bad upper lip CGI. And
which I didn't notice at all. Really.
No. See, I disagree. I thought that
you can't disagree.
So
with
here's
me.
the backstory.
You disagree
and then we're gonna
that I didn't notice it.
We're gonna go into commercial break with this, but this is the backstory of what her comment was, and it took me a second to kind of realize, like, what is she saying? I'm not quite sure. And then I thought maybe the villain Steppenwolf had some bad CGI, which he did. And I was like, maybe his upper lip doesn't look right. That's fine. And we reported it here, so I actually should be, pretty, up on all this. Is that they did a whole bunch of reshoots. Joss Whedon came in because Zack Snyder, unfortunately, due to family tragedy, couldn't fulfill his obligations to the film. Joss Whedon came in, 15 and 20% of it got reshot. They redid the ending. And they needed to bring Henry Cavill back, but he was busy shooting Mission Impossible 6, and he grew a really cool beard. But apparently that beard took a really long time to grow, and the studio was like, we're not going to let you shave that beard for these reshoots. So you're going to have to CGI get rid of this beard. And they did. And the very beginning of the movie, you see Superman in this like Facebook video, kind of looks like he's on our show, which he should come on our show. Kind of screen, and I said to my dad, because I go to the movies with my dad, and that's what we watch, and I'm like, something didn't look right about Superman in the beginning. And it was the CGI. They removed the beard. So that was what Victoria said. It actually,
I disagree.
What it did, though, was provided a very good anchor points for where was this Zack Snyder's movie and where was this Joss Whedon's movie. And we'll put the two up against each other when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Thank you very much.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to go to college for that? Is there some sort of classes?
I could tell you how to become Lord of the Radio, but then you'd become Lord of the Radio, and I wouldn't be Lord of the Radio
This is
anymore.
very true.
No such thing as co-lord.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It's
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every week, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and also streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. I want to welcome Anna Keeble. She's watching. She's our alpha intern, but she's on vacation right now because it's Thanksgiving. Are you guys going out there? Are you thankful? Are you excited? You know, it's the biggest bar night of the year, but you kind of pregame with us, and that's kind of good. Right?
Yeah.
This is a pregame.
I never heard it was the biggest bar night of the year.
It is the biggest bar night of the year. The Wednesday night. Because all
Come
the
to
college
think of it,
kids...
there were some nights at Wizard. There were some Thanksgiving Eves at Wizard that were,
Well, yeah, they're pretty epic.
Yeah, they were pretty.
That was a good time. That was just a good time in general. All right, we were talking Justice League. We segued really, really well into the next item of business.
There's no we. I segued.
But I want to hear what you guys think too, because there's a lot of people that, again, this movie Justice League kind of.
You haven't told us what you thought.
I don't
of the
think
movie.
this. I'm not gonna. That's the beauty. Have you not?
You
not
said you were
this out?
gonna, so now you're lying.
No,
Because
I'm not lying.
You said we'll get into how I felt about the movie later in a few minutes.
We're an hour long. This I could take us to the very end.
It's not really that I care what you think at all.
What I want to get into.
don't.
What I want to get into is
I don't care what you want to get into.
What was now, as we all know, and maybe you don't know, but if you didn't know, now you do.
Oof.
Joss Whedon
Get on with it.
took over
Yeah.
midway through
Yep.
because Zack Snyder had to step down. Zack Snyder's version of this movie versus what Joss Whedon's version of this movie was going to be, right? Snyder versus Whedon. So let's match up. Digital Spy, just to give them credit because they did the work here, actually pinned together and said what Snyder's film would have looked like versus what the outcome of this movie actually was. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, don't turn off Facebook, don't turn off talkradio.nyc, don't flip off your iTunes or your iHeartRadio or however you're watching us. Don't turn it off. But there's spoilers coming.
Just turn the sound down.
The Russian family. Right, exactly. Give us the credit, regardless. So, point number one. The Russian family would not exist in Snyder's version, which I thought was a little weird, the Russian family. Like, I was kind of like, why do we care about these?
Very clear Whedonism.
This group, right. Like what about this is exciting? I don't know. That was definitely a Whedon addition. Okay? The first proper meeting of the League appears to have been completely retooled by Whedon. It's the first sign he completely changed the Superman narrative. Pretty much every shot of Superman in this film has a wobbly lip, which means his dialogue was totally redone. That's the bad CGI we were talking about. The subsequent fight between Superman and the League was all Snyder. But in this case, they think it would have run longer. Basically, everything this article said, like, if Snyder had done it, it would have been longer. And they were actually, like, praising it, that it would have been longer. In my mind, I'm like, whoa, did you guys sit through Batman vs. Superman?
No, but
that was super long.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. There's a two-prong. Because, like, you know, on the one hand, nobody's ever satisfied with anything. And if they know that there was something else that they didn't get, they're going to think that the thing that they didn't get was better and that they got screwed somehow. You know? It's like, no, what we got screwed us.
We were going to save this.
What we could have gotten.
Yeah, we were going to save this for spinning the racks at the end, but there is an actual online petition to see the original cut of Justice League by people who are very defensive
by the
of
same
Zack
people
Snyder.
who got upset about Martha and
Yes.
and Batman versus Superman.
The same people who are like, Zack Snyder is terrible and we need to get rid of him.
That is the same thing I was kind of
have
telling you
now
about
formed a petition
the argument
to see Zack Snyder's film.
about the argument for from the Orville versus Star Trek Discovery, and that literally there are people saying, if you liked Voyager, if you liked the original Star Trek, watch the Orville because that. And I'm like, Voyager. None of you liked Voyager. Brandon Braga was pilloried because he was the producer of Voyager so badly that in the special features of Star Trek Enterprise, Brandon Braga has like a 7-hour documentary. About what went wrong. About what went wrong with Enterprise. So everybody...
Mine would be so much longer. I'd be like, where do I start?
Yeah, exactly.
2007.
Yeah. I think it was that time.
10 hours
You know
right
that
there.
one time I took this job that I shouldn't have, and then I just became twisted, and I slapped a dog. It was a terrible time.
You slapped a dog?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Life is hard sometimes. Life is apocalyptic sometimes, depending on where you are and who you think you are.
What kind of dog was it?
Huh? It was a big dog. The dog deserved it.
Oh, okay.
It was an Irish wolfhound. You ever seen one of those?
Is
you
that a
can
made-up
ride an
dog?
Irish wolfhounds are like that big.
Oh, okay.
They're giant.
Are they like?
I was saving myself. I
They're
slapped
like the dire wolves.
An Irish wolfhound is a huge dog. I am not making that up.
And yes,
I
agree.
am not making that
I
up.
agree.
Okay, they're gigantic.
They are
if they
bigger
get on
than
their
I am.
hind legs, they'd be taller than you.
Okay.
All right, so don't get in my face.
So
about
your initial immediate
I had to
reaction,
save myself from that dog. Why are we even talking about this?
But to slap the dog?
The dog needed to be slapped. It was coming right at me.
Okay.
It had fangs and teeth.
But I'm picturing like a Monty Python Holy Grail.
You're thinking I slapped a Chihuahua, and see that's and you can't get that image out of your head, right? And then you're thinking that's
just
what
funny.
Huh?
That's just
I
funny.
wouldn't kick a Chihuahua. I wouldn't slap it. That's a lot of effort.
Wait, but that's my whole point. I would kick the Irish.
You don't kick an
dog.
Irish wolfhound; they'll rip your leg off. You slap
Wow.
them.
You slap.
Let them know.
How'd they not rip your hand off then?
Because you pull it back. You can't pull your leg back.
You don't know what I can
You're
do with my leg.
extending, right? You're extending in a you know
made-
physics.
you've
I'm
made
gonna tell you about the
made
physics.
assumptions about my legs.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I'm trying to save your life, man. Go out there and kick an Irish wolfhound. See what happens to you. It's not my fault. I tried to save him, everyone. Anyway,
We've digressed.
doesn't matter.
We've digressed.
Doesn't freaking matter. The point is that no one's really happy. There was one of the documentaries for the Brandon Braga apology tour, right? Was on YouTube. This is how I knew the documentary existed in the first place. And there were 6 comments under that by Star Trek fans who were saying Brandon Braga created the worst Star Trek ever, to ever exist.
Sure.
And so now he's part of the Orville.
Yeah.
And now they're all like, yeah, it's real Star Trek, and even Brandon Braga is on it. So these people don't. There's no nothing. Everything is a binary choice.
But do you think that's also like
Everything is designed in our society, and from the internet to politics to television, to what we watch, to what we eat, to what we ride or whatever. Everything is willed down to a binary choice, and you are on one tribe or another, and that's how commerce works.
Yes,
because they get us all fighting, they get us to thinking that we're all either on one side or the other, and that our job is to annihilate the other side.
Yes,
and everything that is clickbaity.
Sure.
That kind of coincides with our mentality of how things should be is something that we're going to spend a lot of energy on.
Yeah.
Click on it, give them a whole bunch of views, a whole bunch of, Bitcoin, all that stuff. And that's how that's how they've monetized us.
What do you think,
they've
guys? Do you think, are you on one side or the no? See what I just did there? See what I just did there?
No, it wasn't even clever.
Keep watching.
I saw
our
what
show.
you were doing. I saw what you were doing.
Yeah, make us money.
I'm gonna get an Irish wolfhound and then throw him at
look. In all seriousness, I think what you're saying is 100% accurate. I think there's definitely something to that. There's no question that people are trying to get each other on, get people on different sides.
It's Marvel or it's DC.
Sure.
Why doesn't the DCU work? We're not talking about this movie versus the last movie.
Sure.
Versus does this movie work at all? We're not even saying does this movie work versus Thor. Why Thor worked and why some people feel
we could do whatever we want.
We could. I'm not even talking about us. Us, we're different. We're completely different.
Well, we're great.
Yes, we're wonderful. We're cool. We're badasses.
We're much
blah,
better
blah, blah.
than everyone else.
But they're talking about it as Marvel versus DC. That DC can't do anything right. That's part of the narrative. Yeah. And then Marvel does everything right.
Sure.
Until we're comparing Marvel movies with other Marvel movies, and then it's the individual directors can,
sure.
Well, these people don't really understand Spider-Man versus that they understand Captain America, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
It always has to come down to a binary choice.
Yes.
Right? And you're saying there's no middle ground. I have the middle ground. That movie was good.
Mm-hmm.
Was not great. I would see it again.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't rush out to buy it to make it part of my library.
Would you?
But it wasn't horrible.
Would you want to see a Zack Snyder cut? Because actually, and before you
I'd
answer
like to
this,
watch an extended cut or an alternate cut.
I actually
would
kind of like to see it.
Yeah.
Just to see where he would have went.
But you'll get that. I don't even understand why the petition is necessary because they're going to want to make money and they're obviously going to release it. There are 10 different versions of Blade Runner.
I know.
So of course you guys are going to get it.
I know. But the whole idea
get your
here
money.
is though, and this is to touch upon something I told you I wasn't going to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. I actually like what Whedon did to it because, quite frankly, if they didn't pivot
How do
to
you
the
know,
humor,
though? You can only speculate.
No, but that's the beauty of the bad CGI for Superman's face. You can almost pinpoint.
Theory, though.
You can pinpoint.
You're theorizing.
Rob, you're not even going to see this movie yet, but you will see this movie, and you're going to be like, "What's up with Henry Cavill's face?"
Theorizing,
and you'll be like, "Oh, that was a reshoot." You can kind of pinpoint what was a reshoot versus what wasn't. This again, giving credit to Digital Spy. There was a lot of stuff that you can almost easily identify as, well, that was Whedon. You know, the scene at the end or toward the end when Flash and Superman are saving the civilians, that wasn't there before because the Russian family wasn't there before because it was a Whedon trope that he used. It was a Whedon thing that he used. Now, I'm not saying I love the Russian family part because I actually thought that was kind of like stupid, to be honest with you, at that point. But I like the lighter tone to this because, quite frankly, if they went any deeper, it wouldn't have held its own. If they dragged this
you
out,
suspect. You don't know that for certain.
Well, okay, I suspect then. Yes, I suspect.
You do suspect.
You're very big on the
because we're always talking. I'm talking about tribalism. I'm talking about binary choices and jumping to conclusions. And you're saying this would have been like this. It would have been too much.
Yes, I guess theoretically speaking, unless you're
only speculating.
But if you read about nuclear holocaust and you see the effects that nuclear holocaust had on their victims, you can kind of speculate what nuclear holocaust would do if it happened to you, right? I mean, you're not jumping to conclusions. You're using
in the sense
you're using
of
things
speculating
of
that
fact.
people would be destroyed because of destruction,
and then there would be
in the sense of speculating how
in the
you
sense
would
of
interpret
speculating the
art.
two previous Zack Snyder entries, plus the previous Zack Snyder movies. Pretty much everything except 300, maybe Watchmen. Maybe Watchmen's watchable. You can kind of speculate what it would have been.
You're now interjecting your opinion of his work,
yes,
as though it were fact and genuinely considered by all, which is.
I think it is
true.
genuinely considered by all, right?
No.
I think it's genuinely considered that 300 was his pinnacle.
No.
When we come back, what was Zack Snyder's pinnacle? And we'll have Danielle Solzman on as well, too. Danielle Solzman.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the herb to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place, because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
The superpower you wish you had?
Teleportation.
Ooh.
There you go.
I always go flight. I'm always like, I want to fly.
You teleport. You don't need to fly.
Right.
You never be late for work.
That's what you would do. This is why you're the co-host of a middling podcast, because you don't dream big enough.
Because I can't teleport. If I could teleport, you think I would be sitting here right now?
You'd be on time.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. I want to give a shout out to our beloved patrons.
Shout out to beloved patrons.
Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all our beloved patrons. We have dedicated fans: Einar Peterson, Matt Beyer, Ashley Haikai, our program director Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and as always, our Uber fan Christina Dolce. Speaking of our Uber fans, we have a tremendous 100th episode planned for the end of December. It's going to be featuring a lot of our Uber fans. If you'd like to be involved, if you'd like to come down to the show, we are
studio audience.
We are open inviting. So email sire@mikebooks.com. Okay, sire@mikebooks.com.
Come to our show.
We'll
have prizes for you.
Yes, we will. Oh shoot! Now we have to do prizes. Yeah, we'll have prizes. We're going to do an open invite. We're gonna invite all our past guests.
Yes.
We'll get 3 of them.
Yes.
We're going to invite...
The people we don't like, you'll only know we don't like you
because you're not
show
invited?
up and we don't let you in.
Oh, okay. We'll probably let them in anyway.
Yeah, probably.
So
you'll never know.
That. But yeah,
you'll
December
never know
20th,
how we feel about you.
Our 100th episode, open casting call for people to appear.
Open casket call.
Casket. We're also ending the show then. What are you going to do?
We did. What do you want from us?
It's over.
Right.
And then the week after, just to give a little promo again, we're gonna release
after the last show of the year.
Yeah,
we're gonna do another show after that.
Well, no, we're not actually. We're gonna release our New York Comic Con special, which we've been promoting for a while.
That's technically doing another show.
Yeah, but it's done already. Because it was at New York Comic Con.
All right, loophole.
Right. Beautiful stuff.
Loophole.
All right, we were talking about a bunch of things. One of the things we do want to get into is I want your rank of the DC films since 2016. Okay, and we'll push it back. We'll keep pushing it back a little bit.
You got to name them though.
I will.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to just continue the conversation we were having before we went to break, which was, I say Zack Snyder's pinnacle. Zack Snyder is give me their Weezer, their Pearl Jam, their no, can't say Nirvana because that was their third album. Their first record was like the pinnacle of their success, I think Zack Snyder 300, right? Best movie he's come out with. What Zack Snyder film is better than 300?
Better than 300. Zack Snyder. Well, when you say better...
I knew he was going to go this way. You can't just take a simple question either, though. You have to break it down to very specific.
It's not a simple thing. It's how I interpret...
Execution and enjoyment level.
But I enjoyed all of his... Well, I enjoyed Watchmen tremendously.
I enjoyed Watchmen.
And I think it was executed quite well. It was a great adaptation of a really difficult work.
Yes.
Without a lot of support.
I think it was
from
a
the creators
fair
of that,
adaptation.
The originators.
It was
of
a
that.
fair adaptation.
Right. Here's what we do.
But we're not going to go with an
You just
adaptation.
asked me. So I don't care what you think. You just
agree.
asked me what
I agree.
think. So then you ask me what I think. I
In
tell
terms
you.
of-
and then you counterpoint
Well, let me ask you
with...
this question. Have you ever walked out of a movie enjoying a movie more than another movie?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So your enjoyment level will be based on your level from a scale of 1 to 10, comparing movies you have seen versus movies you have seen. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We're not basing this on anything
We're
else.
talking about what I like.
Yes.
Whenever I talk about what I like, you counterpoint me saying I'm wrong because...
Yes, I agree.
So don't do that.
See,
Stop doing that.
We've come to an agreement.
Yes. And I agree that's annoying as hell, and then I'm not going to keep talking.
But this particular line of questioning is not to tell you you're wrong. It is to decipher how you are deciding that 300 is not his best film.
I didn't say...
Based on these criteria.
I didn't say it wasn't his best film.
Okay.
That's not what we were arguing.
I said
you said his pinnacle.
Yes, his pinnacle.
To the point where he can no longer rise above that. He can no longer do anything better than that. He can no longer achieve greatness beyond that stature.
Let's take away the word can and replace it with the word has. Okay? He has not.
Up to right now, no. He has not done a film better than 300. Mm-hmm. He's done films on par, I would say.
That's fair. Which
and
films?
that he's capable of doing...
You would say Watchmen on par with 300?
I just said Watchmen.
No, but I'm asking you, do you think that's on par?
I think visually, Sucker Punch is an amazing movie.
Okay.
It's story-wise, there's some contention there.
Some deficiencies.
Yeah. Well, there's disagreement on that. There's controversy.
Sure.
In this story execution.
Okay.
But it's visually a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
And a very gutsy movie.
Okay.
Because it really was specifically only made for him.
Okay.
So yeah, I think maybe 300 is probably his commercial, but then no. My favorite Zack Snyder movie is Dawn of the Dead. So, long before the superhero stuff started.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Before 300?
Way before.
Really?
Way before.
He directed that?
Way
He
before.
directed that
Yes,
too?
he did.
All right. So he's not Pearl Jam, and he's not Weezer.
No, he is not Pearl Jam. That was our first. I think that was the first Wizard World LA.
I feel like I'm gonna do some research. Our crack intern Anna is on vacation because it's Thanksgiving,
and she's on crack, which is why we call it a crack intern. I don't think you should reveal her
addiction.
Yes, like that on the air.
Well, I'm going to do it
stuff
anyway.
we talk about in confidence. Like, I don't know.
There's no confidence on this show. We have no confidence in our own show. We have
I
no
will not
confidence.
argue with that.
We have
That
no
is
confidence in
absolutely
our own show.
I'm going to get in trouble for that one.
Nevin Gordon said, I liked the movie but could see where it could get criticized. I wish it was longer and had the characters have more time to develop into the team.
He wanted more.
Instead of being rushed in, which would have been a Zack Snyder staple. That would have been like 8 hours long
Yeah.
if it was Zack Snyder.
There is a 30-hour cut somewhere.
Superman should have been returned on his own instead of being brought back by the team since he was still alive at the end of BVS.
That's a strong spoiler.
Yeah, but we said this earlier. We're like, this is spoiler central here. So
I tend to agree with that. I think the logic behind that, I don't know whose idea that was, whether that was a Whedonism or whether that was Zack Snyder. So I think the logic behind that is kind of bad.
Let me give you some insight though. Well, no. Before you give the logic, I'll give you the insight, and I can tell you exactly who it is. Though originally Snyder had him in the black costume. Remember the black costume from the '90s when he came back? That's when he was going to appear, and supposedly it was tied into the whole the flashback sequence from BVS where Superman was going to kill everybody. So the Superman coming back was going to be, is he good? Is he bad? Is it the bad Superman? So there was a whole arc that was basically just nixed from that. Go ahead.
Right.
I needed to give you that.
Well, great.
I need to give the audience that. They demanded it.
I don't remember even what I was saying.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good for me. That's pretty good.
I just don't think it's the same. These people today don't understand how to tell stories anymore.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay,
it's bad for ratings, but I don't disagree with that.
No, yeah, I know. The main thing that's important is that every character has to be all dire decisions that characters have to make. They have to be the masters of their own destiny.
Sure,
that is innate. That is part of the DNA of storytelling. If you're following this character, all the decisions that this particular character should make should come from some moral choice that the character's made because of the information that he has been fed or he or she has experienced, right? These new movies, J.J. Abrams, Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon to an extent, even though he should know better, these people just jump to a conclusion without the morality, without the earned stimuli.
You know why that is, right? And I'll tell you exactly why it is.
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
We have so much more knowledge. We are so much more meta about everything we do. We assume, and look, I do it in my own work sometimes, right? I do it in my own work where I see a scene and it's like, well, this scene, I've seen this scene before. And it's not that you're out of original ideas. It's just that the natural evolution of conflict between characters leads you to a point where, I've seen this scene before. So the character is automatically going to come to a conclusion because they've seen the scene before. It's almost like you imbue them with this meta knowledge. And I think that happens in so many movies now where the filmmakers have taken for granted the fact that this scene, this moment has happened before. And they're trying to put their own spin on it by acknowledging that this moment has happened before. And so instead of letting the moment play out into, hey, I'm a character, you're a character, we've come to this moment, it's, we've come to this moment and it's got history behind it because this moment has happened a million other times before.
It's actually a phenomenon called, I think it's called intercontextuality.
Yeah.
Which was actually something that was brought to my attention by a friend of mine. So it's not even like that's something I just had in the back of my head. That everything is, like you're saying, everything is meta and everything is a reference of something else. A reference in a reference. And nothing is an original tread.
Sure.
Right? Which is fine. But that logic is flawed.
I agree.
Because if we've all seen it before, and you're not and such details of important moral decision making or whatever are considered redundant, then why are we even watching this character?
Right.
Why does this character exist?
Right.
I know Superman. I've seen 100 Superman movies. I know he's going to end up eventually doing the right thing and punch his way out of it.
How did you see 100 Superman movies?
I've seen 100. Maybe I've seen 1 or 2 Superman movies 100 times. But either way, I've seen 100 Superman movies, right? So I'm not lying. It's not a lie, right?
Yeah.
So he's eventually he's gonna get over his crap and he's gonna punch his way out of the situation and throw someone in the sun. That's basically what Superman does, right? Okay. So why do I have to watch your movie if I know that's how it's gonna end?
Sure.
So if your logic is thinking, well, there's some information we don't have to give to people because they already know it. They're way ahead of us. The audience is ahead of us. Then I'm already ahead of you to the end. I know whatever conflict he's going through, he's going to overcome it.
Yeah.
And you're going to get it done in 2 hours, and I can go home. Unless you kill him off, and then I have to come back.
That's not
3 years
fair,
later.
though, because I guess that's a limitation of storytelling these days too. I mean,
what I'm saying is that nobody is the master of their own destiny anymore. Nobody comes to the conclusion on their own anymore. Like a moral decision, such as like Superman, they brought Superman back to life, right?
Spoiler.
So it wasn't his choice. Yeah, you did it.
Bing.
So you did it. It wasn't his choice to come back to life. So now he's back. He's got to do the right thing or whatever, and he's got to put up with it. No. He should find a way to come back.
Yeah.
It should be a situation. It's the same with The Force Awakens, where everyone tells Han Solo to go do this thing, and Han Solo goes and does it, and gets killed.
Right.
In the 80s, if that was made in the 80s or the 70s or even the 90s, it would have been a choice that he made. It would have still got him killed, but that would have been the tragedy of it.
Right.
Is that he decided to do it himself.
Right.
He wasn't told. And then, now the way it looks, he just got misled. He got led into an ambush. So and they don't even understand stories to that level of sophistication that they realize that something is wrong, is inherently wrong with that, and that the character is hollow.
Yeah.
And these characters ring hollow, and the audience watch these characters, and they don't exactly know why, but there's something hollow about them, and that's why they don't react well to them. And they react badly to them because the characters are hollow, and the characters are hollow because they don't have any moral core. There's no moral fiber. There's no decision.
When we come back, we're going to rank the DC movies from 2016 on.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
You ever seen like the old men at the Starbucks? Like they have their little like.
I don't go to Starbucks.
Oh, I do. I work at
I'm
Starbucks.
a man.
It's fantastic, and they just have these old men club, and they just sit around and talk about the good old days.
That's why I don't go into Starbucks. It's a creepy sausage fest on caffeine.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. With us right now, just in time, she got in here just in the nick of time, is Danielle Solzman. She's a film critic for Solzy at the Movies and Cultured Vultures. And she is a certified, registered, official Tomatometer critic for Rotten Tomatoes. Danielle, how you doing?
I am doing good.
Well, I'm glad you made it. You made it in the nick of time. We are talking Justice League. It's good to have an official critic's point of view. Hassan was telling me that I have not given my point of view on the movie yet. And with that, I'm going to ask you, what did you think of the movie?
Compared to Batman vs. Superman, it was a masterpiece.
We don't like to compare things here. I'd love to compare things. Hassan does not. But go ahead. Give us the official critique of a critic's point of view.
Well, I mean, after DC's offerings last year, which were not great, and having just seen Thor like 2, maybe 3 weeks earlier, I mean, you really have to question what DC's doing. I mean, I like how they introduce the new characters, but overall there's still issues. Like with the Amazons, they may as well just have Patty Jenkins on set and bring in the Wonder Woman crew to do those scenes. Because overall, I mean, it's still a bit on the messy side, but compared to last year, it's a step in the right direction. It's no Wonder Woman, which is going to be the best DC film for some time to come since The Dark Knight.
So it's good that you actually say that, right? Because it got us thinking, like, let's rank the films, right? And that was something we wanted to do. Because that's just what we do.
From 2016, though.
From 2016 on. Now, we'll push it back as we go, but let's go from 2016
only
on.
one beyond that.
We got Batman v Superman. We've got Justice League. We got Wonder Woman. We got Suicide Squad. Danielle, where would you rank those 4 films? Like, how would you rank them from 1 to 4?
Wonder Woman, Justice League, BVS, and I did not see Suicide Squad.
Oh, that's probably why.
Oh, all right, okay, all right. Well, all right. Well, we'll forgive you for that because it really wasn't worth watching. But I would actually put Suicide Squad above BVS. Hassan, what about you?
I would go with her.
Yeah?
Yeah, because Justice League.
You wish you didn't see Suicide Squad?
No, I enjoyed Suicide Squad. I just don't think it didn't make a huge impact on anything.
Connor Crowder actually wrote in on Twitter, and he said there's a sizable gap between the first and second. First being Wonder Woman. I think we can all agree from 2016 on, Wonder Woman's the best one, right? Danielle, yes?
Oh, yeah, by far. I mean, I just got my screener in the mail the same day after the press screening, and still need to rewatch it.
You don't think, Hassan, you're shaking your head, you don't think Wonder Woman's by far the best DC film since 2016?
The best. I think it is. I think it is the best executed. It's not the best story.
No. But the best film. Best film as a whole.
It was the best experience.
Yes. Okay. Oh, good. See, I see what you did there. That was good. And I think I would put Justice League 2 also.
Justice League would be 2. I don't know how far behind I would have it though. Like
really?
Yeah.
Really? You would say, okay. Danielle, is there a sizable gap between Wonder Woman and everything else that's come out? Or is Justice League close? Really? Okay, go ahead. How come?
I mean, just look at the overall story, how it's executed, and I mean, there's like a good chunk of space between where Wonder Woman is and where Justice League, BVS, Suicide Squad are.
Yeah.
In what way?
That's what I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, I only saw Justice League. What's it? Has it already been a week since?
Close.
Yeah. About a
Close.
week.
Yeah, about a week.
My brain is. When you see as many movies as I do, I mean, it's easy to be fried right now.
They all just blur together at this point, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell the world out there what you got going on. I know that you are launching a GoFundMe campaign to get to Park City, which is the home of Sundance. Give the audience a little bit about that.
Yes, I was just recently credentialed for Sundance, and I also plan on doing Slam Dance. But being a full-time film critic is not cheap.
Maybe what you get paid is, right?
I mean, there's a lot of fun perks that come with being a full-time film critic, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So I've launched a GoFundMe in order to get to Park City, Utah for the film festivals, and you can find that information on my linked on my Twitter, Danielle, SATM, and on Facebook, Solzy at the Movies, SOLZY.
Very cool, very cool. I hate to cut this short, but we're actually coming up against the end of the show. But I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll have you back on again in full so we can dive more into the movies. I think there are going to be a couple more comic book movies coming out in the next couple months. I have a feeling.
You got this?
I have a feeling.
Inkling? Okay.
Yeah. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
That was Danielle Solzman. So check out Solzy at the Movies and check out her GoFundMe campaign. She does a lot of great stuff, and she's trying to get to Park City, which is the home of Sundance. And I just keep thinking about that Entourage episode when I think of that.
It's a real life equivalent to Money Island.
It is, though. It is. It is. You know, so we kind of were. You're in agreement with her that Suicide Squad was worse than Batman v Superman in the rankings.
Yeah, in the rankings. In the context of impact.
Yeah.
And event. And like entertainment, the
Yeah.
level of entertainment. Yeah, I would put it there.
I think it's tough to. Do you think? All right, let me ask you. I'm going to reframe this, right? Do you think when you see the movie impacts what you think about it?
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
It can do.
So I saw Suicide Squad like way after the fact, right?
Right.
So my like feeling on it was not like, wow, I just wasted 3 hours of my time. It was like, well, it was on HBO and I saw it and it was amusing and it was entertaining and Will Smith is good in this movie and you know Margot Robbie has a really great costume.
It wasn't a Van Helsing moment.
You know, was it perfect? No, but you know, again, it just it wasn't really.
It just wasn't. You know.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. But look, real as quick as possible. Batman vs Superman is not a good movie.
No, it is not.
But it is a.
It has good elements.
It is for lack of a better way to put this, it is a ballsy attempt. It is an attempt to be broad, to be bigger, to be larger, to be intercontextual, and it doesn't succeed on a lot of levels.
Right.
I suspect it is strongly hampered by the iniquity of Man of Steel, which we weren't allowed to really bring in because of the 2016.
Where would you put Man of Steel? Where would you put Man of Steel?
Man of
if
Steel
you
would
bring
be
it
first.
Really, above Wonder Woman?
Mm-hmm. Yes. See. Well, it did, like I said. See, this is the thing about every time you do these things.
Yeah.
You have a particular mindset of what is good and what is bad.
Yes.
It doesn't alter.
Yeah.
But you don't accept that other people have other parameters for good and bad.
I can accept that you have them. I don't have to agree with them, though.
You don't have to agree, but if
so, it's me not agreeing with you.
Yeah, but it's not even you.
You just recognize my authority as host, as if what I say is what people actually enjoy.
I would use the word authority.
I think that you.
I think more seniority.
Okay.
As opposed to
I like that.
authority.
I like that. Here's James Gallagher's thoughts. My thoughts on
what he thinks.
seems like DC is trying to catch up with Marvel. All right, seems reasonable.
Marvel, DC, binary.
Batman versus Superman
binary.
Was filled with numerous. Well, no. Wait, hang on. Let me pause. Let me pause this real quick. This is why we need 2 hours, which is what we're gonna get. Episode 100, 2 hour show.
You already pitched that.
Didn't pitch it again. They were trying to catch up with Marvel. This is fact.
That is true.
Right.
But so what?
So I'm just saying. So he says, seems reasonable. Batman v Superman was filled with numerous storylines. Jail was equally jam-packed. This movie could have been 5 hours long, and that would have been a slice of awesome. But okay, pack it with plot lines. I'm along for the ride. My issue with their Dagwood sandwich approach to this movie is that there was a backstory of a grand war. I'll leave it at that. That was covered in less than 5 minutes. And given the players involved, it would have been an epic 3-hour movie, epic 3-movie trilogy on par with Lord of the Rings.
I agree with that. If they had taken JLA and done it as a 3-movie,
yes, like
they're trying to do with Infinity War,
yes. And I'll in our closing minutes here.
This was also the problem. He's also absolutely correct, and they're trying to jumpstart the whole thing because also Batman vs Superman should have been a trilogy in and of itself.
Yes.
All right, culminating with the perhaps with the death of Superman, and then start off with this other trilogy.
That being said, as poor as Batman v Superman was in execution, I think Whedon did the right thing by pivoting to a more humorous, lighthearted tone because I think in general that's what this movie needed. So that's my thought. I think I agree with you. It's good. Next week we have a very special show in partnership with the History Channel. We're going to be previewing their new Knights of the Templar scripted series, Nightfall. Is this the next Game of Thrones? We give you the inside info. We've actually seen it. Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, that's how like awesome we are.
We are the awesome.
We're going to tell you whether or not you should or not. See you next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.